Well, today we're going to do a little following up on some things that you've seen on the show before. You're going to remember a French-speaking mother-in-law who wanted her daughter-in-law gone. She's simple. She wanted to just run her off. Now, Amanda called her mother-in-law controlling and meddling. Yolande felt that her son, Pierre, should be with a more educated woman, and she would criticize Amanda in French in front of her. Now, of course, Amanda didn't know French, just Pierre and Yolande, the mother, knew French. So Pierre was torn. Yes, he was torn between the rich lifestyle his mother provided or his wife. Now, I gave them what I thought was some very clear advice. So take a look when they were here before.
Yeah, you are being ridiculous because I'm married to your son. I don't have to.
My mother-in-law drives me absolutely crazy.
She really has emotional problems.
Pierre's scared to stand up to his mom. She does basically control money and assets.
I'm okay with the price I have to pay for the luxuries that I have here, thanks to my mother.
She bought me a Mercedes.
My wife has a much bigger problem accepting the financial help that my mother gives. It would be difficult to choose if I had to choose between the two.
Did I just hear you say that if I had to make a choice between my mother's money or my wife, it would be a tough choice?
It's a difficult choice, but of course I would choose my wife.
Are you wanting to get rid of her?
Well, I think she's creating a huge problem. She's destroying my son's life.
Now, Amanda feels that her mother-in-law and husband speak about her in French, knowing Amanda does not understand. So, have you ever wanted to be a fly on the wall? Amanda, Pierre, and mother-in-law all went to dinner. We arranged to have a French translator at dinner.
I had to excuse myself, but really I was going to the back room to get an earpiece in my ear.
This, you're gonna get in your ear so that the translator will be able to talk to you while you're at dinner.
She's saying you cannot find worse than her, you can only find better. She's saying, why do you want to ruin your life with a person like that? He's saying, Mom, enough now, enough. She's saying that she has studied psychology and psychiatry and that this girl has problems.
It seems to me that what you're doing is mean and vicious and cruel. Pierre, tell you what, if you can't stand up for your wife, if you can't get a backbone, I don't give a damn how many cars she buys you. Do you have a job?
I have a job, yes.
Okay, you are able-bodied.
We just would have to live in a less expensive house.
I would live under a bridge in a box. Because what's happened here is she has your in a Dixie cup, buddy. Well, so, in the battle over Pierre, who won? Was it his mother or his wife? Before I roll the next tape, just let me say, they didn't listen to a word. Not a word I said, not a word. Take a look.
It's just very difficult to choose between your mother and your wife. After the show, our marriage seemed okay for just a short while, but then the arguments between Amanda and my mother got worse. My mom got much more involved in our business and really tried to get rid of Amanda. One night, my mother was here in the house and sleeping in the basement.
At 2 o'clock in the morning, Amanda was making a noise.
I had music on loud, same as I always do when she comes.
She was drunk.
She had a bottle of rum.
The music kept getting louder and louder.
By 2:30 in the morning, I was fed up. And so I got up, went upstairs, the door was closed.
She ran up the stairs to attack me.
My mom started just yelling at Amanda to turn down the music. And every time she said that, Amanda would turn the music louder and turn it up.
I ran in the master bedroom and called the cops because that woman scares me. There was one squad car with 2 cops, and they could not calm her down, and so they called for backup, and about 5 squad cars showed up.
3 squad cars came. In the police report, it states very clearly that she was intoxicated. I was telling the police, this is my house, I don't want her to come back, she has to be removed.
I moved out the next day and filed for divorce, and we were divorced shortly, a month or a month and a half later.
And so that's the last time I saw her.
My mom eventually got rid of Amanda. My mom was very happy when the divorce went through.
I just can't face that woman again.
I want advice from Dr. Phil on breaking free from my mom. I am afraid that I'll never be able to get married again and have kids because my mom is very jealous or controlling about who I date.
So she won.
It looks like it, yeah.
I mean, you got a divorce.
Yeah, we got a divorce shortly after the incident.
Yeah, you said that after the show, she got in her mind to just get rid of her, started showing up every weekend and just pressed it till finally that was it.
It seemed like, she got a little more involved and tried to get rid of Amanda.
Well, you seem to just be beaming over there.
Well, I want to clarify something. I didn't come every weekend. I was coming maybe twice a month, but to take care of the house because I put the house up for sale, so I needed to clean out, to read some things.
Look, you consider him to be a boy, your son, but you and I, we're all grown up, aren't we? So let's just have an honest conversation here. You had every intention of getting rid of Amanda, did you not? Because you think she's trash.
No, I don't think she's trash at all. She has, what bothers me was the alcohol problem. You offered her treatment for alcoholism, and I was hoping it would change, that she would get the treatment. I had no intention of selling the house right away, but she never took up the offer.
Okay, well, first answer the first part of the question. You had every intention of getting rid of her.
Not if she had changed. Not if she had. Well, they are ruining me financially. I'm not willing to pay. I was not willing to pay, but they would have been homeless if I had not paid.
Do you get this? She keeps talking about this house, this car, this house, this car. What is your soul worth?
Right.
I mean, honest to God, how much is this house worth? Is this like $50 million or something?
No.
What is your house? What is your soul worth?
It's an average house.
300,000. Okay, but it's not like me.
The problem is,
and this car, you were coming over to get repairs done on the car you gave him.
No, it's my car. It is my Mercedes. I bought it for myself, and it wouldn't fit in my garage, so I kept the Mazda and let him have the Mercedes.
That is...
I never bought that car for him.
That car and that house is your umbilical cord to this boy. It is how you control him. You say, I'm going to sell it out from under you. It's my car. It's this. Why don't you say they're ruining you financially? Why don't you just take the house back, sell it, take the car, sell it, and be done with it?
I put it up for sale, but with a bad housing market, it didn't sell this summer.
Move! You and I had this conversation before.
And I
feel like I'm airing a rerun. Is this the same suit I had on before? Haven't we had this conversation before?
We did, and I can give back the car, that's fine, but what I can afford is like a scooter. And a scooter in Minnesota in the winter, I mean, I don't mind driving a scooter, but not when it's 10 below.
Where does she keep the Dixie cup?
No, but there's one.
How old are you? Seriously, how old are you?
39.
This is so dysfunctional. Now, Pierre claims that his mother is way too jealous and judgmental of any woman he's with. She disagrees. She said, I was misperceived last time I was on the show. I'm going to give her every chance to clear that up. But we're going to put this to the test about whether she's jealous of other women in his life and would try to sabotage him. We'll be right back. Well, when Pierre was last here, he had to choose which woman in his life came first, his mother or his wife, Amanda. Now, Amanda said that her mother-in-law, Yolande, never approved of her. Now, we arranged for Pierre to go on a date and to have his mother watch this whole thing. Now, Pierre calls his mother's jealous behavior insane. He says he can't even mention a date without her getting angry. Now, she denies all of her son's accusations, just like they don't even know each other when I talk to them. Well, we decided to test her by having Yolande watch her son on a date that we arranged. Now, was she on her best behavior, or did the facade crack? Take a look.
Hi, I'm Jennifer.
I'm Pierre.
Very nice to meet you.
This is very nice and friendly.
You know, right now I work in restaurants.
Oh, nice.
I bartend and
Yeah.
serve a little bit.
Want a drink or something? Or
I
eat?
would love one, actually. That would
All
be
right.
great.
Yep, sure. But to me, so. Well, my dad's Canadian.
Oh.
My mom's from Switzerland, yeah.
Is he French-Canadian or?
Yep. We're very proud French. Have you ever been married?
No.
No?
Have you?
Recently divorced.
Was she also from Switzerland?
No, my mom would have loved that. If it would have been a nice
really?
Swiss girl, yeah.
I've had my share of bad relationships and.
You're saying my story completely.
Really?
That's, oh my gosh, yeah.
They seem to have a very friendly exchange, but what he really needs to try to avoid is going to very expensive bars and being with a woman who gets drunk in the bar. He doesn't really have the money to pay unless he gets a better job.
So you're very close with your parents?
Yeah, pretty close. I mean, I still talk to them every day.
Well, of course, when he calls all the time for me to deposit money because of the debts created by that previous marriage.
I get along better with my dad.
Well, and you said that your mom was kind of the one that
Yeah, she's the one that gets a little,
causes a little trouble.
Yeah. Are you gonna change careers?
And whichever woman he dates needs to be patient for him to find a better job than substitute teaching.
But you speak French?
Yeah, I do.
He'll change careers and find a better paying job.
So you've never had a girlfriend that spoke French?
No.
Certainly looks very pleasant, very nice, but you know, what about Pierre's situation? The woman has certain expectations too, so.
Who did you come out here with?
I just came out with my mom.
Oh.
Out here.
Oh,
Yep.
that's cute. And I'd like to say hi to your mom, but I don't want to get you in any trouble.
No, we can bring her out.
I'm Pierre's mother.
Hi.
Good to meet you.
Hi. I'm Jennifer. Very nice to meet you. He mentioned something about that you haven't liked any girl he's ever been with before because they're not Swiss.
People like his ex-wife constantly caused financial problems, and then he asked me for money. He has a full-time substitute teaching position, but that's not a good job, so.
No, funny.
Okay.
Well, Jen.
It was really nice to meet you and
Me too. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.
meet up and go to the beach. It's
Yeah.
sunny.
Bye-bye.
I just hope you find a woman who likes you and reciprocal responsibility that does not involve me.
Well, thanks, Mom.
Who does that? Who comes out? I mean, it's a beautiful girl, right?
Oh, yeah.
Who comes out and says, "Hi, I'm so glad to meet you. He has a crummy job. He has no money. His last wife was a horrible. She wanted money. She was a drunk. I mean, who does that?"
Well, there was a much longer conversation
I
than
know,
what
it
you
was
show
worse.
now, so. But the thing is, I do want to still make a point. I was never involved with him before. It's just these last 2 years. He was married for 2 years. I haven't known half of the women he has dated. I was never involved with his women.
Let's talk about this. You want to change the subject from this, but you came out and made 6 critical, I counted them as they were happening, 6 critical comments about you and the fact that you were basically worthless. I mean, that you had no money, that you had, and you're sitting back there saying, "Oh well, you know, he can't take her to bars," and then here she's a bartender, right? So, I mean, you're already picking and pecking.
Well, okay, I was making comments really for the show because
right. Because when you're not on the show, you're just peachy keen.
Because it is a problem. It's a problem. If a man does not have enough money, the woman should be aware that he does not have enough money and that they need to share the expenses.
Maybe she would just support him.
Well, that if she has enough money, fine. I do not want to be involved.
She might get really big tips being a bartender.
Actually, I was thinking that would be great. That's a good job, much better than substitute teaching, which is not more than $14,000 a year. You cannot earn more than $14,000 a year as a substitute teacher.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm paying.
Well, you know, Jen is here. This is the young lady that you had the date with. Now, you're actually not a bartender, right? That's not where you're headed in life.
No.
Because actually you're working on your PhD in French.
French literature, yeah.
French literature. You had like a 3.9 undergraduate, 3.9 in your master's degree. You're working on your PhD now in French literature, and is quite a delightful young woman, don't you think?
Oh, I thought she was wonderful.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
why
say
you told her
anything negative.
that's why you told her your son was worthless, right?
No,
I wonder if you would have thought maybe that if she was a little better educated than you were thinking, and maybe a little better healed than you were thinking, you might not have pointed out all of his negatives.
I would never have said anything if it had not been here in Hollywood on the DrPhil show. There is no way I've ever made a comment to a woman who was dating Pierre. Never.
Really? See, because
yes.
Amanda doesn't feel that way.
Yeah,
you
yes,
didn't call the cops on the DrPhil show.
Because Amanda was very different.
She hasn't liked any of your girlfriends, has she?
I think a long time ago, like back in high school, maybe.
No, like 4 years ago, the woman, there was a woman
that
who
wasn't
took...
as long ago as it seemed. Because it's still kind of the same dynamic, right?
Right, yeah.
Why do you think Pierre said, and I quote, "I'm afraid I'll never be able to marry and have kids because my mother is insane. She is jealous of any woman I date." Why do you suppose he said that? Are those just because of things you said just in Hollywood on the DrPhil show?
No, because
he was... Or is that because
of
the last 39 years experience he has with you?
No, because he did not want to antagonize Amanda. That's why he said it.
The woman I dated right before Amanda, though, Heather.
Yeah, because you charged me 3 times $2,000 to go to Cancun with her. So, yeah.
But that's just one.
So who
here's
does
the deal.
that?
What do you
This is
mean
not
he
normal.
charged you? You
Took money from
Why
the
don't you
business.
just say no? You don't say
I
no
didn't know
because
it was
you
hidden.
want to have leverage over him.
No, it was hidden. I found out afterwards.
How does he charge it to you?
I owned that business. I paid for that business, and he took money from that business. I didn't know about it. I found out afterwards.
Well, this just seems so simple to me. But look, we got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what else happened since Pierre divorced Amanda. He says he's struggling with some news that he just wants to get off his chest. We're going to talk about that when we come back.
My mom does help me financially, and I need to follow her rules.
All I want is him to become financially independent. Well, it'd be fine if he would find a millionaire woman. That would be great.
This crazy woman needs to be locked up.
Well, when Pierre was last here, he had what he considered a hard choice. He and I talked about that very candidly. It was a choice between his mother's money or his wife, Amanda. Now, it was on that show that I told him that his mother had his manhood in a Dixie cup. Apparently, she still does. I don't understand what it is that is blocking a clear road to independence here, because they just continue to feed off each other. Now, Pierre has been keeping a secret from his mother, and he wanted my help in telling her. So let's take a look at this.
Mom, this is difficult to say, and I needed Dr. Phil's help in telling you. I hang out with Amanda every weekend. Now we go to bars, and she comes over and watches movies.
3 months later, we're best friends.
Since the divorce, we've been intimate a handful of times.
Now, what do you think about that?
Okay, that's very interesting, because he has been asking me for money all the time, and I have said, well, why do I have to deposit money? Why do I have to deposit money?
Because he's spending it on Amanda.
Exactly, that's what I found out right now. Is that correct, that I am working full-time to pay for Pierre and Amanda? That is not correct. That is my problem. And I was willing to come back to
So is that just kind of your way of saying, up yours, mommy dearest?
I got back at her. I'm grabbing my Dixie cup back.
Yeah. So you're sneaking in the back door to get your Dixie cup.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, that's offensive to your sensibilities, isn't it?
No, but I feel as much a victim. I feel as much a victim as they claim to be victims. I am a victim in this, to have to spend my money on them instead of doing, living the way I want to live.
Yeah, we probably can't do it right now because you'd have to rewind everything, but I'd be curious how many times she has said the word money since this show started. I'm guessing we're approaching 30, 40 times.
Yes.
Is everything about money? What about his happiness?
No,
what
it
about
was never a problem when he had a full-time position. I never slept at his apartment or house.
Do you think you're over-involved with him?
No, not at all. When he was with Amanda, I was involved because I had to fix the house, do things at the house.
But he's still seeing her.
Well, doesn't she? I had assumed that she had had a boyfriend or had met other men. She had boyfriends even while she was married to him. I think she was involved with one person.
So you think she was cheating on him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't she have a boyfriend now? I would have assumed so.
You would. Why would you
I've never
assume
seen
that?
Her. Because she's, I think she attracts men and she likes men. So fine. Let's tip everybody. I mean, they're in
You're not
each
too
together.
high on American women in general, are you? You don't.
I have never seen that. There was a misquotation on the internet about what I said. I have never said anything negative about American women. And my best friends are American women.
How does she feel about American women?
Well, I mean, I think she would much rather I date a Swiss girl or
crazy. You're absolutely crazy to have.
I'm not saying you dislike American women.
To anyone, I know plenty of Swiss women.
He's crazy.
Well,
his theory is it runs in the family. Okay. Yolanda's not seen her now ex-daughter-in-law Amanda since the middle of the night fight that caused 3 or 5 police cars to come to the house. Well, the woman who's supposedly been benefiting from Yolanda's money is actually here, and she's going to join us next. Well, Pierre and Amanda divorced after a show we did on meddling in-laws. Now, Amanda filed those papers after an all-out battle with her mother-in-law that actually involved the police. Now, today is the first time Pierre's mom is going to see Amanda since all of these cop cars came to the house to settle their dispute. Now, Pierre has just revealed that he has secretly been spending time, and according to Yolande, money with Amanda behind his mother's back. So she's here, and she's going to come out. Now, she's going to have to sit somewhere. You want to sit here with her, or do you want to sit over here with Mom?
I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm going to sit on this side, though, for now.
Well, I assume so.
Okay, let's have Amanda join us.
Hi.
Good to see you again.
Nice to see you.
How are you?
Good.
Yeah?
You are a piece of work.
So you've been listening to the show, watching what's
have.
going on. What are your thoughts at this
Well,
point?
I agree. It's money, money, money with you constantly, never happiness. I just don't get it.
Well, because it has never happened before that I had to pay all the time.
And to interrupt you, no, he doesn't. You're not supporting any finances or anything. I have my own job, very successful.
At least $30,000. We were married for a year and a half. You cost me $30,000. That's $15,000 for you.
Here?
You never paid 1 cent for anything in the house.
What do you have a list?
I want to read one sentence here.
Okay, go ahead. What are you reading from?
Okay, this is a letter that Amanda's mother wrote. It says, "My dear Amanda, I cannot change you. I wish I could." And here she writes, "People love you, but can't take the drink, and you too." It is handwritten by her mother.
Why are you constantly, seriously, why are you constantly, putting me down? You don't even know who I am.
You have never... constantly. You have slandered me on that show last time. You're slandering me now.
You deserve it, though.
Well, but you have a problem, and your mother knows it, and you have had treatment. I have never been in treatment for alcohol.
He's 39 years old, and you treat him like he's 8. You choose his friends, who he hangs out with, what he does. You constantly are
I don't know his friends.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know his friends.
You're crazy. You're just...
No, but you see, you have had treatment, alcohol treatment repeatedly.
Why are you going back to me?
So you make up things. You make up things.
You do not the fact that he had to hide that we're even friends.
You even
is
accuse your
pathetic.
father of things in here. This is in here. An accusation of your father.
Family out of this. This is
Yes.
Thank you.
Accusation of, well, I don't know whether to say it. With what you say, I would say the police, the accusation of the father.
Person that you want to make everyone around you miserable. That's just how you are.
I was never involved before.
You make everyone that comes around you miserable.
Whom did I meet? Whom did I meet?
How did you actually come to have a Xerox copy of a private letter
I have
from
the
her mother
original.
to
I have
from
the
her mother to
original
her?
because it was when she left the house. There was all the junk on the floor, and she told.
Oh my gosh, are you serious? That's crazy.
What?
You go, what did you snoop or what are you doing?
This was after you left. You had all your junk.
So if it's mine, what are you doing looking at it?
I was cleaning out the room, which was not your room, which was because you had burned the carpet with your hair equipment, electric equipment.
What are you doing going through my stuff if it was if I was left
you were
there?
out of the house. You told the
I don't
police
care,
you are
it's my
not coming
stuff.
back. It's my house. I pick up what's on the floor. It was on the
It's
floor.
my stuff.
You're seeing Amanda again. You guys are being together some.
No, we're
you're
friends. We're
Yeah,
really,
understand.
really good friends.
Yeah,
but
we hang out.
honestly, I'm so glad I'm done with this. I
Yeah,
can't
and you
even
know what?
just now. Like I can't.
Yeah, I'm
so done.
I'll tell you what. The best thing that probably came of the last show is that we got a divorce to make it easier on Amanda. Because can you imagine this while we were married? I mean, my mom.
Well, what I can't imagine is that you don't have the guts to stand up for your wife.
I totally stood up for my wife.
No. That's the problem here. See, the problem is complex, but the solution is simple. The divorce papers are signed. Amanda says she's been better than ever now that she's away from this mother-in-law. Is this marriage really over? And hopefully, what about the friendship? We'll talk about that when we come back. We're following up with a meddling mother-in-law. Now, that's according to the daughter-in-law and to the son. She denies it. She says, I am not meddling at all. I'm just protecting my assets. I have a car I have to do upkeep on. I have a house that I have to do upkeep on. I don't want to be in his life, correct? That's what you say. She continues to be involved with her son, who has said, I really do enjoy the lavish lifestyle that she provides. Now, at this point, you are still living in the house.
Right. Yep.
You're still driving the car.
Yep.
You're still taking money from your mother.
Yep.
Okay. And y'all have filed the divorce papers.
Right.
And you have moved on.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yep.
You two still sleep together some. You still see each other some.
No. That was
It was a wild, long
right
time
after
ago,
the
yeah.
divorce. But
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
strictly just like we are just like best friends, honestly. Like, and that's why I also wanted to come here. I find it really pathetic that this is going to continue. If they don't, I mean, it's like almost like a sick and twisted relationship between them two, and you need to seriously I don't know.
I need to get a job again. I have to get back into the career.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just sick and twisted to me.
Yeah.
It just seems weird. It's like they're in a relationship, and it's like I want him to find a nice girl for himself, but I don't think he ever will because he needs to detach. I just,
Right.
I still care about him, but it's just, I want him to be able to move on, and I don't think you ever will because now you're like 40 and it's just
Well, I'm
weird.
starting over. The problem is I need to be financially independent. I know it's a real easy solution to it is I need to be financially independent so I can cut away from her. And I was up until that business 3 years ago. I mean, that hurt me.
Do you think that you are in a healthy relationship with your son?
The problem is that I have to pay. I will mention money again. That's the problem. And so actually, I think you will agree, I have never discussed what kind of women you should date. I have never been involved with anything like that.
Well, you certainly discussed who he shouldn't be married to.
Well, just this one person.
How many times have you been married?
Oh, I got married twice. I was married once when I was 20.
Okay, did you like her?
Yeah, she was fine, but I didn't have contact like here. We ate together once.
Do you admit that you're glad she's gone?
I wish she had followed your offer of treatment. I was hoping this would change the situation completely, and she did not use the treatment you offered her.
Is that I got
sad.
you're
I was
out of my life,
disappointed.
and that just helped. That's all I needed.
Would
That was my treatment to
No, it
myself.
would have changed. It would have changed. I would have.
Okay, look, this is not an essay question. This is a good old yes or no. You're glad she's gone, right?
I don't care if it would be fine. No, it would be fine if I was not involved financially. If they did not ask for any money, that would have been fine. I would not have mattered to me.
Let me try it with the younger generation. She's glad she's gone, right?
I think she's happy, yeah.
Yeah. And not happy that
Only
she's
because
back.
of the finances, I'm glad it's not involved. I'm sorry to insist on that. If it were not for that money, there would have been no problem.
Because
I am
otherwise,
absolutely
other than the cash, you were fine with her drinking? You were fine
I would
with...
not even have known about it because I have never known what he did with the other women he dated unless I would get a bill like for the trip to Cancun. And they took a trip to Cancun too, which I paid, showed up on my credit card. So that's the only problem. I have never been involved in any of his relationships.
Well, I
unless
haven't had a
about
drink
the
in
bill.
40 years, and I'm really thinking... All right, look, I've got to take a break. So much of this battle between mother, son, and soon-to-be ex-daughter-in-law has apparently been about money. It's true, and a house. So what's really going on here? I mean, am I the only one that thinks this is just really weird? We'll be right back. Well, I'm here talking with Yolande and her son, Pierre, and his now ex-wife, I mean, the papers are filed at least, Amanda. Do you get that your mother's perception is that if you weren't financially dependent on her, she would butt out of your life?
Yeah.
But regardless of what she does, you have the ability. I think Amanda you're not perfect, but neither are you, neither am I, but I think you have lost a delightful young woman here. You've moved on, and God bless you for it. I would keep putting one foot in front of the other. I would just keep heading on down the road, because if I were you, happiness would be these folks in my rearview mirror. Because really, they don't have a plan here for life. And I like I said, I feel like this is a rerun, but you have to get on your own 2 feet and cut the cord here with your mother. It takes two to tango. And her perception is you're in her house and you're her car. I told you before you needed to not do that. You said, well, it's easy to say there, Dr. Phil, but I would have to live in a dingy little apartment and drive a scooter in the dead of winter. Well, you know what? You're 40, able-bodied and intelligent. Get off your dead ass and get a job. You know? And I tell you what, I've got a friend. I've got a friend named Tony Bashira. And let me tell you, this guy, he is probably the top headhunter in America. He has placed over 7,000 people in top-level, high education, fast-track career jobs since 1973. He's been doing this. He's got to be the #1 job placement guy in the country. He's recognized by the Fortis letter. I mean, this guy is top notch. He's even written a book about this, and it's called Job Search Solutions. I called Tony and told him about you, about your education, about your entrepreneurial interest, and asked him if he would help you get hooked up somewhere in a no-kidding, full-time, stand-on-your-own 2 feet position, and he has agreed to meet with you beginning on the phone today.
Goodness, thank goodness.
Will you do it?
Oh, absolutely. Dr. Phil, that's what I want to do. It's not that I'm lazy. I mean, I work 40 hours a week subbing. I used to work 80 hours a week with the business. It's not that. It's that I couldn't get back into the teaching. I had to start all over because I left teaching for 2 years.
Okay, when he gets you a job, When he helps you find a position, will you park that car in the driveway of that house and put a note on the dash that says, Mom, thank you for all that you've done for me. It's time for me to move on.
Absolutely.
And
that's
you will
what I
do that.
that's what I want.
I would like to say something positive. Okay.
Please, you have
Yes.
the final word.
The only reason I agreed to come is because I was hoping you would help my son with career counseling or finding a job. That is the only reason, because I was really concerned otherwise that there would be some argument or who knows what.
Yeah.
But that is the reason, and I appreciate this offer. That is the only reason I was willing to come.
Okay, so we're going to do it, right?
Yes.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.